The Duck Dynasty family has seemingly always wanted us to think that they're a picture-perfect family, but it turns out that this whole time they were hiding something insanely shocking underneath it all. And you'll never believe this intense story about one of the Duck Dynasty couples. The Duck Dynasty family always portrayed themselves as wholesome and deeply religious, but now some things have come out about Al Robertson and his wife Lisa that will leave you speechless. Their whole relationship has been insanely complicated, and it all started even before they got married. Actually, you could say that it all started before they even met. Lisa had a really difficult childhood, and what she revealed about it is seriously heartbreaking. Lisa said that from about the age of 7 until she was 14 years old, she was harmed and touched inappropriately. This had a significant impact on her life and her way of thinking. Lisa said, and I think that was what triggered the bad thoughts and how I related to men and thought of myself. What's even worse about this is that this harm only stopped because she threatened the person who did it to her. Lisa later admitted that the only reason she never told her dad back then was because she knew he would be willing to take that man's life, and she didn't want him to go to prison for that. The whole thing is just devastating, and even though it eventually stopped, Lisa had to endure it for years. She even was left with long-lasting consequences that had a big impact on her relationship with Al. Lisa and Al got together when she was just 15 years old, which means that they started dating just 1 year after she got out of that horrible situation. Al was 17 years old at the time, and the two of them fell in love, but their relationship was far from ideal, and you'll never believe why. The issue was that Al didn't know about what Lisa had been through. He later admitted that he basically piled onto her trauma by taking advantage of her. He would apparently pressure her into doing things, and since Lisa had apparently been in love with him long before they even got together, she wanted to give him what he desired. But this obviously didn't work in the long term. The two of them broke up, and what happened next is seriously shocking. Lisa was just 16 years old when she got pregnant with another man. She ended up having an abortion, which also impacted her mental health in a big way. She since described that decision as her worst mistake ever, but her and Al's problems were far from over. The two of them eventually found their way back to each other. At this point, they both became devoted Christians, and they got married in 1984 while they were both still teenagers. For a while, it looked like they might finally be happy, but then things took a shocking turn. 5 years after they tied the knot, Lisa became involved with another man. This affair wasn't actually a physical one, but apparently Lisa had an emotional affair with this guy. He was a member of the church where Al was a minister, which made things even worse. The two of them never actually touched in an intimate way, but apparently they did become romantic. This was obviously a really difficult situation, especially once Al found out about it. He said that he was actually able to forgive the man because he had apologized to Al, but the way he and Lisa decided to handle the situation apparently left a lot to be desired. Al could see that Lisa was sorry. She clearly felt terrible, so he decided to forgive her too. But what happened next made things even worse for them. Al and Lisa wanted to move on from this, but they didn't know how. Al said that he made the big mistake of threatening Lisa that if she ever did anything like this again, he would divorce her. He apparently kept bringing up the affair every time he and Lisa would have an argument about anything, so eventually they just kind of swept the whole thing under the rug. Their solution wasn't really getting them anywhere, so they just ignored the problem altogether. They started focusing on other things, and it seemed like it was working. On the surface, they looked like the perfect couple. No one really knew about the affair, so it was easy to ignore. But then things truly came crashing down for them. Even though they didn't talk about their problems anymore, the problems didn't just disappear. And 14 years into their marriage, Lisa got into another affair, but this time around, it was a physical one. And on top of that, it apparently went on for a very long time. It all started when one of Lisa's ex-boyfriends contacted her. They got together and became intimate, and it took Al more than a year to figure out what was happening. He reportedly became suspicious in the summer of 1999, but Lisa kept denying that something was wrong. Still, Al didn't believe her, and he apparently used cell phone records to figure out the truth. Obviously, once he knew what was going on, he was heartbroken. Lisa and Al actually temporarily separated, but they were determined to keep working on things. This time, they knew that they had to approach things in a better way than they did the last time Lisa had an affair. They actually got in touch with a counselor, and this apparently really helped their relationship. Lisa had this to say: the very first time we sat down with her, it was almost like a burden was lifted. Al and Lisa kept working on things, but their problems were still there, and you'll never believe what Al said. He admitted that he still loved Lisa in spite of everything that had happened, but he just wasn't sure if he could forgive her, and he also wasn't sure if they could actually move forward together and live the forgiveness. They went through a really difficult period in their relationship, but shockingly, they actually came out of it all stronger than ever before. This all happened years ago, and once they got over all the hurt, they never looked back, and they genuinely seem like a really good and wholesome couple. It's been almost 39 years since they got married, and it doesn't look like they'll be getting divorced anytime soon, which is shocking considering everything that they went through. I honestly had no idea that they dealt with so much throughout their relationship, and on the one hand, it's impressive that they never gave up on each other, but on the other hand, I don't know if that's actually a good thing. They do seem very happy now, but they had to go through a lot of pain to get there. Then again, Lisa was clearly very traumatized after what happened to her when she was just a child, and she admitted that it impacted her relationship with men in a huge way. Maybe it was always going to go like that, and it's good that she eventually got to talk to a counselor. I feel like both she and Al worked on their relationship as well as on themselves as individuals, which is admirable and really great to see. They've also been very open and honest about these things, which is pretty refreshing too. They did once try to hide it all, but now they see the importance of speaking out about these things. You can find their entire relationship history on their website, and Lisa has also made it her mission to talk about the things she went through as a young girl. She now apparently talks to her grandkids about safety all the time, which is pretty great to hear, because as Lisa says, we don't need to teach our children what is safe and what isn't. Anyway, what do you guys think about all this? Did you know that Lisa and Al went through so much? Do you think it's impressive that they're still together to this day? Or do you think they should have just gotten divorced all those years ago? Let me know in the comments below.